I've given these bearing housings a little bit of a clean up. Just used a little bit of red diesel, wire wool, just giving them a bit of a gentle rub. So they're looking nice and clean now. I've done that to both of them. And I've left this yesterday soaking in some of the Undoit to try and get this grub screw out. Now I came back in this morning and it just wasn't shifting. So what I was going to do was try and drill it out, because I couldn't think of any other way just to get that out. However, I thought one last go, managed to actually twist the Allen key to do it. But by putting the Allen key in the grub screw and then using this metal tool, I've actually managed to loosen it. So by putting force on it and then tapping the end of the Allen key and tapping the side of the Allen key, has managed to free that up. So I'm pretty pleased we've managed to loosen that up. It was so tight. So we'll just take that out now. So this is the little grub screw. So I'm pretty pleased I managed to get that out in one piece, because obviously a bit of a nightmare if we had to drill it out and try and find a replacement. So put the grub screw somewhere safe with the bearings over here. Now the next thing to do is, what we want to do is try and get this collar, which is screwed onto the shaft, off, so that we can then release the pulley. So I also think this could be a little bit of a game to try and release that. So again, I've sprayed it with the Undoit. Give it a little bit more. Left that soaking in overnight as well, last night. So I'm just going to get myself a little hammer to try and help tap this off. Oh, I've got one here. So I don't want to damage anything, so try and be a little bit careful with this. Right, so now you can see that's just loosening up. If you ever have to do a job like this, I swear by something like Undoit or penetration sprays just does the trick to get things loosened up. Rusty old bolts and things like this. Okay, so we've got the collar off. We've got the collar and the washer off. Now, this has been on here for a period of time, so obviously it's going to be pretty tricky to get it off. So I'm going to take it outside and use the sort of little setup of little wooden sort of bench thing I had outside, to try and knock the shaft off this big pulley. Again, we don't want to damage anything, so put a piece of wood on the top. We'll try with a small hammer first. That's not really moving, so let's have a go with the big boy. You can see now it's starting to come apart, so a little bit more to go. used pulley. So I've just got a little bit of red diesel in here. We'll just use that and a little bit of wire wool or sort of wire brush. Give those a little bit of a clean up. We're just going to give the shaft a bit of a clean, but not too worried about some of this grease on there because we're going to grease it up again before we put everything back together. Nice mucky job. Right, we're ready to put the new pulley on, which I've got here. So we need to remember to put the back collar on first, down there. And this has been sitting on the heater for at least an hour or so this morning, so I'm hoping, with a bit of luck, we should be able to slot this one on nice and easily. So let's see. It's actually really warm. Okay, so we've got it about halfway on, so I'm just going to go outside and knock it on with the persuader. Right, we've got our new pulley on, honed into the back plate. Now we just need to put it all back together. Right, I've done that up pretty much as tight as I can. Next thing to do is to put our little grub screw that we took out. Put that back in there. Do that up nice and tight. Okay, so now we're ready to put the bearings back on. Now I've taken it apart and put it back together. The bearings, because it's all been cleaned up a little bit, the bearings are wanting to slide back and forth a bit at the moment. So obviously I need to go back up the tower with it. So I'm just going to sort of tie the two bearings together so that when I go up the tower, they're not sliding off on me. That should do the trick. Also, when I go back and put it all back together, I want to put some grease back on this shaft. So we've got lots of just like agricultural grease, so it's like tuber grease. We can use that to lube her up when she goes back in.